Hi, everybody. Welcome to our weekly 6 p.m. time together. I am so glad that you are here with us today. I am recently doing a Native California series with my kids program on Tuesdays at 4. And along those lines, I was trying to expand what we're doing here on Thursdays, keep it relevant, keep it interesting, and I want to say keep it native, right? Because I've got this book. Now, the interesting thing about John McGroarty is that he was not a native Californian. So there you go, right? But he wrote about California, and actually he did a lot of writing about California, and he also represented California politically. So actually, I thought before I get right into reading a little bit of just California, which is so different from what we usually do, right? But also kind of the same. I thought I would read just some interesting information I found online. Who was John McGroarty? So I only know him because of the McGroarty Arts Center here in the Sunland Tujunga area. But what else do I know? Not much, except that, well, I do know that he's a poet, right? So there's that. But what else, right? So he was born in Pennsylvania, and he went to public schools. He was employed as treasurer of his county in 1890 to 1893. Then he studied law and was admitted to the bar in 1894. Then he moved to Montana, and then he moved to LA in 1901, and he became a journalist. So in 1909, he edited an LA Times centenary edition of Lincoln's birth with an introspective on Blacks in Los Angeles. He became a beloved figure in Black Los Angeles for his broad-minded views. McGroarty authored numerous books and dramas, one of his best-known works being The Mission Play in 1911, a 3-hour pageant describing the California missions from their founding in 1769 through secularization in 1834, ending with their final ruin in 1847. The play opened on April 29, 1912. McGroarty also penned California, Its History and Romance in 1911 and Mission Memories in 1929. In his book, The California Plutarch, 1935, he detailed the lives and histories of Northern and Southern California's early pioneers, such as the Crocker, Carrillo, Van Nuys, Stanford, Avila, Estrada, Sepulveda, Baldwin, and Mulholland families. Besides, he was also the editor of the West Coast magazine for a long time. He was a poet laureate of California, and he was elected to the 74th Congress in 1935. He lived in Tujunga in a house known as Chupa Rosa that he built himself and completed in 1923 in what was at the time the unincorporated community of Sunland, which became the city of Tujunga in 1925 and then a part of the city of Los Angeles in 1932. And now that building is a historic monument. And when there's not a virus going on, there's all kinds of cool stuff going on there. So there's definitely a legacy. So it is absolutely my pleasure to just spend a few minutes. And I know you're like, oh, she's not talking about wildlife today. Ha ha. Don't you think that for 1 second. Don't you think that for 1 second, because John Stephen McGroarty, isn't that cool? Actually wrote also a little bit about wildlife in his writings. So there you have it. So of course we're going to read just California, but we're going to read some other selections as well. So this book was copyrighted in 1933 in Los Angeles, California. I have washed my hands in the winds. I have cleansed my mouth in the rain. I have put on my robe of roses and the crown of my little songs. All right, so we're going to go backward, actually. We're going to start with this one. I like this one. It's called In the San Joaquin. And you know what? There are no pictures. I know. I like to share pictures usually. Like, don't watch me read. Okay. I watched the sun sink in the west. I watched the sweet day die above the dim coast range's crest. I saw the red clouds lie. I saw them lying golden deep by lingering sunbeams, kissed like isles of fairyland that sleep in seas of amethyst. Soft, through the amber twilight, stole one clear note of the lark, as fell upon my wandering soul the desert's sudden dark. It fell with trembling fear that broods when night steals o'er the plain. And from the ghostly cottonwoods, the moody owls complain. Then, through the long night hours, I lay in baffled sleep's travail and heard the outcast thieves in gray, the gaunt coyotes, wail. With seaward winds that wandering blew, I heard the wild geese cry. I heard their gray wings beating through the stardust of the sky. Spent through the wakeful gloom, I lay with my poor heart's distress and walked again the haunted way of life's old loneliness. The dead from far graves come, I heard. I saw them rise and pass. They spoke my name when sighing stirred the whispering pampas grass. Yet, with the last grim, solemn hour, stilled were the voices all. And then from poppied fields aflower rang out the wild bird's call. The glad dawn, deep in white mists steeped, breathed on the dazed, hushed lyre, and far the dim sierras leaped in living waves of fire. So that was In the San Joaquin. I like that one a lot. All right, then what's next? What's next? What is next? It's going to be Back Yonder. Okay, so this guy's from Pennsylvania, right? He's lived in other places. I too am from a place that is not California, and so I can relate to this. So maybe if you are not from California, maybe you can relate to this. I don't know. Or maybe you're living in a place that you're not from, right? Okay. Back yonder. Away back yonder, the wintry winds are chill. In a winding sheet of snow lies the valley and the hill. The patient cattle huddle in the shelter from the storm, and the folks are all housed in round the fire, keeping warm. It's a hard time they're having, and it sets a man to ponder how glad he ought to be that he's not back yonder. I get to thinking of them often when alone, here with the birds and the bees' happy drone, the flowers and the sun and the land with poppies gay. Somehow through it all, my thoughts backward stray, and I catch myself a-dreamin' of the old place and wonder if the skating's like it was when I lived back yonder. I wonder if they gather in the cold, crispy night with the moon's flooding glory on the fields still and white. the lusty-throated boys and the laughing rosy girls, their bright eyes dancing through their tantalizing curls. While coasting's at its best and the ice is gleaming under the bobsleds a-whizzing on the hills back yonder. I think I see the old folks gathered in the glow of the hearthstone's warmth that I used to know, the brown jug of cider on nature's wholesome brew, and the spoils of the orchard where the luscious apples grew. I think, till I've half a mind to squander the last cent I've got on a trip back yonder. But of course, it's only dreaming. It wouldn't really go back to the howling winds, the blizzards and the snow, away from the flowers and the sun and the bees, the balm in the air and the sunny days like these. But I can't help knowing, as far away I wander, there are other kinds of joys, and they're way back yonder. All right, that's a good one too. So many topics. This is such a great little book. All right, and just two more, hold on. Just two more. Okay. So this one is called The Captive Coyotes, right? You had to know there would be one that's all about coyotes. So, and I know I should have memorized these, but I've been busy. So bear with me and just hopefully you can love this author the way I do. So once again, he's referring to them as the gray thieves. The gray thieves' outcast brood trapped in the haunts of men, and far away the sheltered wood, and far the desert's fen. Far is the moonlit plain, where they would wandering be. They like not through the window pane the faces that they see. No use to stretch a hand of kind and friendly care. They would not know or understand the peace you would declare. The wild blood will not tame with one day's passing grace. For know ye not from whence they came, that gaunt marauding race? For a full 1,000 years they've borne the bane and ban, the bold, unshriven buccaneers, the gypsies' outlawed clan. And so when night stars pale and wakes the desert's breeze, if ye shall hear a she-wolf's wail, it is for loss of these. So there's that. And finally, I couldn't read a book that is entitled Just California and not read Just California. So there you have it. Just California. A quote starts with a quote by Theodore Roosevelt. When I am in California, I am not in the West. It is west of the West. It is just California. Twixt the seas and the deserts, twixt the wastes and the waves, between the sands of buried lands and ocean's coral caves, it lies not east nor west, but like a scroll unfurled, where the hand of God hath flung it down the middle of the world. It lies where God hath spread it in the gladness of his eyes, like a flame of jeweled tapestry beneath his shining skies, with the green of woven meadows, the hills in golden chains, the light of leaping rivers, and the flash of poppied plains. Days rise that gleam in glory. Days die with sunset's breeze. While from Cathay that was of old sail countless argosies. Morns break again in splendor o'er the giant newborn West. But of all the lands God fashioned, 'tis this land that's the best. Sun and dews that kiss it, balmy winds that blow, the stars in clustered diadems upon its peaks of snow, the mighty mountains o'er it, below the white seas swirled, just California, stretching down the middle of the world. And that's my story. So thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight and sharing some John McGroarty with us. And we look forward to seeing you next week. You'll have to, I should have the topic for next week right in front of me so that I can easily tell you what that is. But have a look at our calendar. It's on our website. It's also on our Facebook page. And if you are not yet a subscriber, please subscribe. We could use your support in that way. And again, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.